Yo, what is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today's video, we're actually doing a build, just show you guys builds for the top 9 gods on my tier list from Monday. If you have not watched that video, Monday's video, absolute banger. Go through all the gods after the 9.5 revert. I've got a ton of games. I'm very confident in that tier list. But now you probably are thinking, why do you have these 9 gods in the top tier? I want you guys to go experience with as best a build as you can to try to play with those characters just to see how dominant they really are, because they are so incredible. So starting from the top, Ares, number 1. The build is rather simple. Sentinel's Embrace, Thebes, Sov, Pesty, Pridwin, and then Pythags. And you're probably thinking, Bobby, Pythags, why? It's been nerfed a ton. It's really not that great of an item anymore. Why are you building it? I think Ares' damage is so insane right now with basically 0 defense items, or sorry, 0 power items, that he can kill squishies by himself. The reason I really like Pythags is it's kind of like a sneaky thing, but ever since the buff to Ares 2 giving auto attack damage, pairing this with the extra power from Pythags and the extra lifesteal, it makes objectives a breeze to do. So Pythags is your 1 damage item. You don't even need the overkill of like a Divine or a Deso or a Gem of Iso. You really just need this Pythags and then some anti-heal from Pesty. But we've got Aura. That's 150 power right there. Another Aura, 180. You get 40 from this base, so 220. And then you get 15 from the magical power of the passive. So 235 power with this. You'll also be sitting at almost capped procs. You'll be just short of it and over 3,000 health. It's an incredible build. Try it out. Ares is insane. Pressure's insane. And this build is just the cherry on top. Next up, Bastet. Probably my least favorite character to play against right now. Very simple build. Boomba's Spear, Jotuns. I've been really liking Brawlers as a second item for her. Also, this Jotuns should just be a regular Jotun's Wrath until you get a little bit more damage online, so that healing is actually worth it. So Boomba's Spear, Jotun's Wrath, Brawler's Beatstick, maybe Heartseeker, then you can go back and finish Jotuns. A lot of the times I don't even finish this until last item because Bastet's passive is just so much healing by itself. But if you have like an awkward back one time and you want to spike before a fight, Jotun's Vigor is really good. And then Crusher Bloodforge, 30% pen. You have a good amount of cooldown, not great. You're sitting at 30%. Just try to make sure you get that blue augment for that early portion of the game. And even into the late game, I think it's still worth. Low key also, I don't go Soul Eater because I think that red augment is so insanely strong right now, especially on Bastet. So with Bastet, her passive is 18%. And then you also get 15% from the red augment, adding up to 33% against gods. It's incredible. All you need is really that. But that's more of like a late game thing. Like once you get this Boomba Spear finished and you can actually be at 30%. I really don't think you need that extra 10%. I would prefer having that red augment late game because it makes you so insane in 1v1. And this build overall is a carry 1v5 machine. Next up, Chang'e. I've heard a lot of complaints about this character. It makes sense. Gem of Focus makes her so she's very hard to catch in the late game. She also does a ton of damage. Doom Orb is really strong to kind of combo with this Gem of Focus. It also gives you a little bit more flat pen. Pairing that with the Deso for cooldown flat pen. Mirrodin for the one-shotting off ult. Rod here is mostly just because your ult doesn't literally one-shot. It's not like a Scylla ult where it's doing 2,000. I mean, it's a stun also, so it doesn't need to do 2,000. But it's doing like 1,000 late game. Pairing with Rod to get the ult to get them below 50%, and then the ult, or the one Rod combo to actually finish them off. You have 2 options as the last one. Divine Rune is a little bit more damage against the squishier gods. Obshard is obviously more damage against the tankier gods. I usually opt for Divine Rune, but if you are playing against a lot of tanks, you might need the Obshard. Just putting that out there. Next up, Charybdis. I said in the video, I don't think this character is that insane. I still think she's very good, but I think Medusa is a step above her. But Charybdis' build, Leader's Cowl, Stormseeker, Aussie. These 2 flat pen items make it so your 2 does like 350 damage at level 4. Like when you have 4 points into it. It is insanely high damage. It makes it very hard to 1v1 you. Demon Blade, XC for that extra pen, extra crit against those tanks. And then Devoted Deathbringer to kind of put your crit chance a little bit higher. I really like Leader's Cowl on Charybdis because it gives you that extra survivability that you're already very hard to kill. This Leader's Cowl makes you do slightly more damage. It also makes you slightly harder to kill when you are getting dove. Maybe you misplay a little bit with your 3 or your ult. Leader's Cowl can kind of get you out of that sticky situation. Next up, Daji, my least favorite god in the entire game to play against. The Baji's kind of a beast, I'll say that. Shut up. Very simple build. Boomba's Hammer, Jotun's Hydras. You're trying to rush to that 30% cooldown as quick as possible. Serrated Edge, Heartseeker, Bloodforge. Not a intricate build, not a complicated build. It is a build these 6 items, you win. The only maybe is if they have just a boatload of healing, you might have to get rid of the Bloodforge for a Brawlers, but this build will treat you right. Not spending too much time on this build also because it is literally the exact same build. Same thing, Bloodforge. If they have healing, build the anti-heal in Brawlers. Just trying to get that cooldown as quick as possible. Spam your abilities. This is an uber safe character along with Daji, so you don't really need that much survivability built into your items. Very good to 1v1, very good at diving. This build kind of augments all that. To the best hunter in the entire game right now, this Medusa build is so OP, it is not even funny. Bluestone Soul Leader. You don't really become an auto attacker at any point. A lot of your damage and sustain comes from your 1, which it's not like the base damage of it, like off your auto. It's not the crit potential. It's not the attack speed. It is literally just the raw damage output that makes this Soul Eater combo with it so good. Soul Eater gives you that extra healing, makes it so you don't really need any other lifesteal. Crusher gives you this extra clearing, and also it's just another thing for this duality, pairing it with the Heartseeker. And then Fail Not gives you that extra 20% cooldown, along with giving you a little bit extra pen, because if you go Jotuns here, you're only sitting at 20%. This build altogether, it's so good. Next up, Terra. As I said, she would be way higher if Ares was not as dominant as he is, but she is still an S tier god. It's not even close. Spartan Flag, Prophetic Cloak, Thebes. I've said it a lot that this double stacking is worse on this 9.5 patch. However, Terra is one of the few gods where her base kit is just so insane that you don't really need any items. So just going these 4 items as your defense and then pairing it with a binding in the late game, you are incredibly hard to deal with. And then you also have this extra pen and extra damage from Spear of Deso, combining with Stone of Binding. And then Spartan Flag also gives you a little bit more power when you do get that proc off. I think this build combos together very well. It makes Terra an absolute threat at all points in the game. And then ending it off, my permaban in ranked, Ullr. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse character. Bluestone, Jotuns, Trans, Hydras, Heartseeker, Crusher. The build has never changed with this character. He is a okay early game character. He's an insanely good late game character if you don't have anyone that can really shut him down. And that's kind of what makes him so strong. There's only a few characters that are really painful to play into as Ullr, Daji being one of them. I think Bastet is kind of another one, but even then, he has genuine outplay potential. If he's sitting in Axe Dance, Daji 3s onto him or blinks onto him, he can just axe her right away and one-shot her if she doesn't have beads. Bastet's a little bit weirder because if she blinks in, she cats right away, which blocks his axe. I still think his mid-game is insane. He has such easy 1v1 against whoever he's playing against. The only slight issue is if you're playing him in ADC and you go Bluestone into Jotun's first 2 items, mana is an issue. You can one-shot, but you'll run out of mana like that. You're kind of waiting for this Bluestone Jotun's trans spike to really start popping off, but you are very strong. And then every other item after that you pair is going to make you even more deadlier and even more of a 1v5 machine. And there it is, a build for every single strong god, every single god in my S tier. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions about the build or why I didn't really build a certain item, drop it in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.